How did you get the racist guards to treat you with respect? You're in prison, and you said, I will only respond to the name Mandela or Mr. Mandela.
You must fight the battle for dignity on the very first day you go to jail.
Really?
And that's what we did. We put our foot down and insisted in being respected, even though we were prisoners. And we eventually succeeded in that.
Eventually, I know they thought that sending you to the lime quarry and working on the rocks would destroy you, but it did the opposite. How so?
Well, I was in the company of great men indeed. Some of them are more qualified, more talented than I am. And to sit down with them, to exchange views, was one of the most revealing experiences I had. To sit down with those men and to exchange views, it enriched your own life. It fortified your morality. It gave you courage to do better than your best.
The thing that was challenging was getting him to admit that he played the greatest role in the apartheid movement, because he kept saying, no, it wasn't me, it was all the other people. And I realized in that interview with him that that is what true humility is. That that's not just a, like some people say, oh no, we've got to mention the other people's names. Oh, he was insistent upon not going forward with the interview without including all of the other people who were part of the movement. Well, I had said that you're one of the most humble person I'd ever met. I will tell you that when Mr. Mandela arrived today, he said that our producer met with him in the room, and he said, what is the subject of today's show? And they said, and she said, Nelson Mandela, you are the subject of today's show. He goes, oh, all right. He's so humble that the very idea that he was going to be on for a whole hour was not something that he expected. You'd also said to me one evening, you said, we made the brain dominate the blood.
Our emotion said, the white minority is an enemy. We must never talk to them. But our brain said, if you don't talk to this man, your country will go up in flames. And for many years to come, this country will be engulfed in rivers of blood. So we had to reconcile that conflict. And our talking to the enemy was the result of the domination of the brain over emotions.
Okay, I'm still trying to understand, though. You began the peace talk, and you end up coming out of prison, and there is no bitterness. How is there no bitterness?
Well, I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be. A democratic, non-racial, non-sexist country. And that was a great task.
Sir, thank you for talking to us today. You have a magnificent affinity with children, a magnificent feeling you can see in your face when you deal with young people. Are these young people, is that your inspiration now?
Well, every human being, young or old, is an inspiration to those who want solutions to problems, national and international. You can get a lot by listening carefully to what they say, sharing with them intimate feelings, But children, of course, I have not seen for 27 years. And when I came out, I had to pay more attention to them because, as you know, children are the most important asset in any country. Any country that does not care for its children is not worth to be called a country.
So millions of people around the world regard you as their hero. Who are your heroes?
Well, my heroes are men and women, to whatever station in life they may be, who are committed to removing some of the most serious socio-economic issues that affect the common people. Poverty, which is the greatest challenge facing human beings in this century. Illiteracy, hunger, starvation, terminal diseases like HIV/AIDS, cancer. These are the people who are my heroes, whatever station in life they occupy.
Will you describe an unfair world? Will we ever, do you think, get a fairer world to live in?
There is no doubt about that. As long as there are men and women of caliber who are sensitive to the suffering of the common person, this world will eventually be what we want it to be. In all continents, there are capable men and women, experienced, who are rising to the challenges which are posed by the numerous problems that affect humanity. And I am confident that this world one day will be the type of world we all desire.
What can we learn here from the South African experience in moving towards reconciliation?
Well, reconciliation, generally speaking, takes place where there are two or more contending parties to an issue. It is normally the more powerful part in that dispute that takes the initiative. In South Africa, we had the advantage, the oppressed, of a just cause. Numbers in comparison to the ruling minority. We have the support of the international community, and everybody, when we returned from exile, emerged from underground, came out of prison, there was no doubt that this was the future government of the country. We destroyed white supremacy as the liberation movement, but we could not effect a peaceful transformation without talking to our enemy, addressing their fears as a minority, and the trauma of losing power. It was under those circumstances that a reconciliation took place in South Africa.
Has the apology, as it has come in South Africa, been constructive, been helpful?
Well, when somebody comes out and said that this is what I did, I apologize, you have nothing to say. If you are a nation builder, you will use that man or woman precisely because he or she is ashamed of what he did and has apologized. That becomes a perfect recruit for the programs of reconciliation and national unity.
So we talked earlier about heroes. Was Muhammad Ali a hero of yours?
Well, naturally, as far as boxing is concerned, and what he has done, he was my hero, just like Ruben here. This is my hero.
What leaders of the 20th century do you admire?
Well, I have answered that question. It's not the question of a leader. It's a question of a human being who does something to make an ordinary individual to feel I am a human being and I have a future and I can go to bed feeling strong and full of hope.
Chairman Mao said power came from the barrel of a gun. How do you relate now to the armed struggle of other groups around the world, such as the IRA?
The methods of political action which are used by the oppressed people are determined by the oppressor himself. If the oppressor uses dialogue, persuasion, talking to the other, the oppressed people will do precisely the same. But if the oppressor decides to tighten oppression and to resort to violence, what he is saying to the oppressed is, if you wanted to change your method, your condition, do exactly what I am doing. So in many cases, those people who are being condemned for violence are doing nothing else. They are responding to what the oppressor is doing. But if you want more from me, you have to discuss each individual case. But generally speaking, it doesn't mean that a person, because a person believes that a freedom comes through the barrel of the gun, that person is wrong. He is merely responding to a situation in which he and his community finds himself or herself.
They made him break rocks, thinking they were breaking his spirit. My first black president. I can hear the echoes of his voice and that cold courtroom when he said, freedom is an ideal I want to live for. But if needs be, freedom is an ideal I'm prepared to die for. There was silence in court. He was sentenced to isolation in a small cell. Hard labor was isonka sakhe semihla ngemihla. They made him break rocks, thinking they were breaking his spirit. Little did they know they were preparing him to break barriers of inequality, oppression, and discrimination. And when opened the prison doors, he opened his heart and forgave them. Now that's my first black president. For the greatest sacrifice of all is to sacrifice yourself. And you did it. Just like a true boxer, you fought your way out of the ropes to the center stage of the world. But I wonder, had it not been for your sacrifices, where would I be? Thank you, Tata. You are my hero, my inspiration, and you made me proudly South African.